going on, everyone? Welcome into the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. My name is Kyle Yates. I'll be with you for the next hour answering your start-sit questions before we have the games kick off here at 1 o'clock Eastern. Of course, if you're joining us, you've probably joined us before. It's week 7. You know the drill, that we're going to go through the ins and outs, the players that have been ruled out, expected to play, not expected to play, and of course the fantasy implications of those. But then also, before we go into that and then your start-sit questions, I've got to say, if you're here tuning in and you have not hit the subscribe button, please do so. Helps out the channel in a huge way, helps us out. And then, of course, hit the like button on this video too. Helps us out in a huge way. And you can find and follow me on Twitter at KyleYNFL and also on Instagram at KyleYNFL. All right, let's get into some of the ruled outs and the players that are not expected to play. We got some pretty big dominoes up at the top here, of course, with Aaron Jones being the latest news. We got word about a half hour ago that Aaron Jones is not going to play today. So this boosts up someone like Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams right now is sitting at RB20 in my half PPR running back rankings. He should see an uptick in carries, but then also some significant work out of the backfield as a receiver. But then also this does boost up their second-round pick, A.J. Dillon. If you are unfamiliar with A.J. Dillon, out of Boston College, 6 foot, 240-pound running back, was rumored to be drafted as a fullback. That is incorrect. He will be the running back here for the Green Bay Packers today against a Houston defense that just saw Derrick Henry run for over 200 yards on them. So not expecting anything crazy here from Dillon, but he should see enough work that if you are desperate for a running back fill-in option, which I am in a couple of spots, then I'm plugging in A.J. Dillon because he has a great chance to score in this matchup and see 12-plus carries. So he lands at RB29 in my half PPR running back rankings he falls a little bit due to his lack of involvement in the passing game. At least that's what we saw in college. We have no idea how the Packers are going to utilize him. I expect the receiving work to go to Jamal Williams, though. The other big domino that we found out after Joe Mixon did not practice all week, of course, is that he will be out for this game. We're going to see Giovanni Bernard assume the main workload here. He's stepped in previously and been a fine contributor for fantasy football. He is a mid-range running back 2 in my rankings. I'm sure that we will get to some of your questions and figuring out if you should be playing Giovanni Bernard or player B. We'll, of course, get into that. But right now, he's a solid option that you can plug into. It's a little bit of a tough matchup, so it's not like he's going up against Houston or one of these easy to run defenses here, but like Carolina with Latavius Murray or Alvin Kamara, anything like that. But yeah, he should see enough work to be a fine option for you. And then, of course, Michael Thomas. After Michael Thomas having the benching in week 5, all these weeks are running together at this point, and then of course their bye week, we thought we were going to see him on the field today. Not going to happen. Michael Thomas suffered a hamstring injury, at least that's what it's been rumored, in practice on Wednesday. He did not practice Thursday or Friday. He's not playing today. So also Emmanuel Sanders landed on the COVID-19 reserve list, so he is out for this game as well. In a matchup against Carolina, Tre'Quan Smith becomes an intriguing option here. If you were desperate for a wide receiver option, I'm sure that he's out there on your waiver wire still in some leagues. So he's someone that he landed at wide receiver 35. In my rankings this week. I think that you can plug him in. He has upside in this matchup, of course. Additionally, of course, we don't have Christian McCaffrey this week. We do not have Raheem Mostert with him landing on IR. No Nick Chubb, of course. No Austin Eckler. Jamison Crowder, wide receiver for the New York Jets, is out for this one as well. He was someone that was in line for a huge target share. We are going to see Sam Darnold back on the field here. So this was a spot that I actually kind of liked Jamison Crowder. He's out for this one. If you are, again, desperate, I guarantee Braxton Berrios is on your waiver wire. I would be plugging him in above Denzel Mims, who we're going to see play today, and Brashad Perriman. Just not these other options that I'm excited about. So Braxton Berrios, though, has stepped in and has performed admirably so far this season in a couple of other spots where Jamison Crowder was out. But again, he's at like wide receiver 46 in my rankings. I'm not playing him unless I absolutely have to. Sammy Watkins, wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs, he's out. John Brown is also out here. This boosts up in a fine matchup someone like Cole Beasley. Stephon Diggs should have a phenomenal game here. Dawson Knox, tight end for Buffalo. You weren't really looking at him. Jordan Akins is out. This bumps up Darren Fells. So if you do need a tight end streamer option, someone that you need to plug in right now, Darren Fells, probably still on your waiver wire. You can pick him up, plug him in. He is a streaming candidate this week. Tyler Eifert, the Jacksonville Jaguars, tight end. Again, desperation throw, James O'Shaughnessy. the backup tight end there in Jacksonville. Tough matchup, though. The big one, though, that I was actually rising on and recommending as a start throughout the week until we got news on Friday that he had appendicitis, Austin Hooper. Austin Hooper is out for this game. David Njoku seemed like the one who was going to step in and immediately be this, fine option that you could plug into your lineup if you were desperate. I just got word a little bit ago that Harrison Bryant is expected to start over David Njoku. Now, this doesn't mean that, David Njoku is not going to see the field. He could still be the receiving option here, and Harrison Bryant could be the blocking tight end, whatever. But this just puts a damper on it where we're saying, we just don't know, especially after all the rumors swirling around of David Njoku being a trade candidate. What is his involvement in this offense going to look like today? He's a dart throw desperation play at best. All right, expected to play DeAndre Hopkins, rumored with that ankle injury to be a game-time decision. He is expected to play in this one. Justin Jackson, this kind of popped up late. Justin Jackson has always been someone who has flashed when he's been on the field, but has had problems staying healthy. And so he is dealing with an ankle injury, but it sounds like he is expected to play. You can plug him into your lineup as a solid RB2 with upside in this matchup. Julian Edelman is expected to play, but he's a flex play at best in this offense. Robert Tonyan, tight end for the Green Bay Packers, is expected to play. Again, kind of ECR has him very, very high this week. I'm not that high on Robert Tonyan. I think he's outside the top 12, but he's still someone that you can look at. Sam Darnold, I mentioned, is expected to play. Curtis Samuel is back in the lineup. This kind of puts a damper on DJ Moore and his stock that was rising. He's someone now who is a high-end wide receiver 3, not someone that I'm necessarily going yes, you must start DJ Moore. And then Jeff Wilson, expected to play. This kind of just creates a confusing situation here in San Francisco. What is the running back breakdown going to look like? Are we going to see Jerick McKinnon be the sole ball carrier here and the sole lead back? Or are we going to see a committee? Are we going to see Jeff Wilson take away some touches? Are we going to see JaMycal Hasty see an increased role? All of these guys, aside from Jerick McKinnon's a solid low-end running back too. But Jeff Wilson and JaMycal Hasty are dart throws at best. I'm not recommending that you plug him into your lineup if you can avoid it. Game time decision, Tyler Higbee. Shouldn't be starting him anyway. Get him out of your starting lineup. All right, let's get into some of your questions. We've got a ton of them, so let's get going. Pick one, Justin Jackson, Joshua Kelly, Giovanni Bernard, or Darrell Henderson in a full PPR. Out of those options, I have, let me pull up my running back rankings. I have Giovanni Bernard at 15, Justin Jackson at 16, Darrell Henderson at 17. And then who is the other player? Darrell Henderson I have at, or I mentioned Darrell Henderson. The answer is, Joshua Kelly. Joshua Kelly I have a little bit further down. So it's Giovanni Bernard for me, but all those guys are in the same tier. Go with your gut in that situation, but I would be personally recommending playing Giovanni Bernard above Justin Jackson and Darrell Henderson. Juju, Corey Davis, Humphreys, or Kirk. I'm going to go with, I have Juju 2 spots ahead of Christian Kirk. Corey Davis is not on my radar. Adam Humphreys is not on my radar for redraft this week. Again, desperation plays. But with those other 2 options, Juju I have at 35, and I have Christian Kirk at 37. So I'm going to say play Juju. Both great matchups. So I want to see what this offense looks like now with Deontay Johnson on the field, with Chase Claypool on the field, and Juju. So and James Washington, of course. What does this offense truly look like? Which is why I'm a little bit lower on Chase Claypool than consensus this week. So Juju Smith-Schuster at 35, Christian Kirk at 37. Same tier, though. So go with your gut, whichever one you feel. But I'm personally going to recommend Juju. Is Michael Thomas for DeAndre Hopkins a good trade for full PPR in the long term? No, I think those guys are kind of in the same tier, and DeAndre Hopkins is the one who's playing right now. So just stick with Hopkins. If that's who you have. Mike Evans or T. Higgins for a PPR flex. I will go with T. Higgins here, actually. A little bit lower on Mike Evans than consensus here. I was lower. I did boost up Mike Evans in my rankings to 23 this week. Still lower than consensus. I have T. Higgins at 27. I'll say go Mike Evans, but again, kind of that same tier. I don't expect a huge ceiling here from Mike Evans. I'm down on his target share with Chris Godwin and Rob Gronkowski on the field. He always has a chance to find the end zone, and I think that Tampa Bay is going to be able to put up points here on the Las Vegas defense. But I'll still go Evans this week, but that's a situation that I'm monitoring, and if Evans doesn't perform in this matchup, I'm going to be plummeting him down my rest of season rankings. One for the flex and a half PPR, Woods, Bernard, McKinnon, or Jamal Williams. I am going to go with Giovanni Bernard here. I'm just going to go with touches. Robert Woods, I'm concerned about this LA offense. The only two games that Jared Goff has played against the Chicago Bears defense, 50% completion rate, 5.9 yards per attempt, 0 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He does not handle the Chicago Bears defense very well, and it's also a primetime game, and there's something to be said about Jared Goff playing in primetime. Doesn't work out typically well. So I'm downgrading the Los Angeles Rams wide receivers here. They're low-end wide receiver 2s for me. Bernard, I mentioned at 16 or 15 in my running back rankings. McKinnon, a little bit down. Jamal Williams at 20, so I will go with the highest rated player there, which is Giovanni Bernard. Should have a safe floor. 2 spots in a non-PPR, Giovanni Bernard, James Robinson, and Jamal Williams. I'm going to go James Robinson and Giovanni Bernard there. Claypool or DJ Chark. You got to go DJ Chark there. Giovanni Bernard or Mike Evans. I'll go Giovanni Bernard there. Again, kind of the same argument with Robert Woods. So Robert Woods and Mike Evans are back-to-back in my rankings. 1 point PPR flex spot, Deontay Johnson, Robert Woods, Latavius Murray, or Tim Patrick. In a 1 point PPR flex spot, I'm going to go with Deontay Johnson here. I think that he walks back into this offense. I think this offense is going to put up points this week, which is why I really like Ben Roethlisberger. So Deontay Johnson, I think I have him pretty high compared to consensus. I have Deontay Johnson at 21 this week, guys. I think that he comes right back in and takes over the large portion of the target share that he was seeing, and he should be a safe option. It's been the injuries, the fluke injuries that have knocked him out of these kind of contests. Otherwise, he was going to be putting up some ridiculous numbers. So I'll stick with Deontay Johnson there. Jared Cook or Hayden Hurst in a half PPR. With Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders out, I'm going to go with Jared Cook here. Either one of them should have or both of them should have a good game, but I have Jared Cook at 8 and I have Hayden Hurst at 11. So I'll stick to my rankings there. I'll play Jared Cook. Robert Woods, Chase Claypool, or DJ Moore in a full PPR. In that situation, I will play Robert Woods. I have Claypool a little bit further down, and then DJ Moore I mentioned a little bit further down as well. I have Robert Woods at 25. I have Claypool at 28, and I have DJ Moore at 31. Need help with the flex, Keelan Cole or Jamal Williams. I'm going to go with Jamal Williams here. I think he's a safer play. Keelan Cole I really like, and I think he does present a safe floor. But Jamal Williams in this matchup with Aaron Jones out, I think belongs in your starting lineup in that situation. So I will play Jamal Williams over Keelan Cole. David Johnson or Jamal Williams in full PPR. In a full PPR that's interesting, I think that narrows the gap here, but David Johnson in this matchup should put up some good numbers against the Green Bay run defense. I have David Johnson at 12 and Jamal Williams at 20 in a half PPR. So again, I mentioned that in a full PPR that narrows the gap there a little bit, but I'm still going to stick with my rankings and my process. I'll go with David Johnson. Do I play Clyde Edwards-Helaire or David Montgomery as your RB2? I will play David Montgomery there. I'm a big fan of his safe floor week in and week out, and just we don't know what Clyde Edwards-Helaire's workload is going to be in this game with Le'Veon Bell active. So I'll go David Montgomery. I have, for context, I have Montgomery at 11 and Clyde Edwards-Helaire at 14. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. All my words are jumbling together. James White or A.J. Dillon in full PPR. In a full PPR, you got to go with James White there. All right. Need one in a non-PPR, Jamal Williams, David Montgomery, or James Robinson. In that situation, I will play David Montgomery. Jamal Williams or Kenyon Drake. Now, that is a good question. Those guys are super close. I have Kenyon Drake at 18. I have Jamal Williams at 20. I'm perfectly fine if you want to play Jamal Williams over Kenyon Drake. If you just don't buy into the fact that Kenyon Drake is quote-unquote back, and he has a tough matchup here against the Seattle defense, I expect points to go up in that game, which is why I have Drake a little bit higher. If it was a, and what did you say? You said half PPR? Oh, you didn't say. So if it's a half PPR or full PPR, I'm fine going Jamal Williams. If it's a standard league, I'll probably go Kenyon Drake there because he's going to get more carries than Jamal Williams. Need one in a full PPR, Giovanni Bernard, James White, or Darrell Henderson. I'm going to go with Giovanni Bernard there in a full PPR. I think that he sees a ton of work out of the backfield as a receiver. PPR flex spot, CeeDee Lamb, Allen Robinson, or Antonio Gibson. I'm going to go Allen Robinson there. Don't like the matchup, but yet he's still someone who's seeing a ton of targets. I have him at wide receiver 13 on the week. Jacobs, Montgomery, Bernard, and Jamal Williams. You need 2 of them. I will play David Montgomery, and I think Josh Jacobs. So even though it is a tough matchup for Josh Jacobs against the Tampa Bay run defense, I just don't think that we can... he's going to have all the offensive linemen back except for Trent Brown. So that was a huge concern, right? And if it was that he was playing with 5 new offensive linemen, then downgrade him, like get him out of your lineup. But we know that he's going to have those offensive linemen back. I think that you plug in Josh Jacobs. He's simply going to get too much work. And I think that even though some of these other guys are really enticing, I'm going to lean into my rankings again and my process. I'm going to recommend that you play David Montgomery and Josh Jacobs. I have them at 11 and 13 respectively. Jamal Williams or DeAndre Swift. I will play Jamal Williams in that situation. Latavius Murray or Giovanni Bernard in a half PPR. I will play Giovanni Bernard. For context, I have Giovanni Bernard at 15 and Latavius Murray at 28 this week. So I still think you can start Latavius Murray, and I think he has a fine matchup, but I would be playing, especially in a half PPR, Giovanni Bernard. Jonnu Smith or Hunter Henry in a half PPR. Anyone want to help answer that question? It's Jonnu Smith. Ryan, Herbert, or Stafford? I will go with Matt Ryan. I have Matt Ryan at 7 in my quarterback rankings this week. I'm double checking that. I have Matt Ryan at 6. I have Justin Herbert at 10. And I have Matthew Stafford at 12. Flex, Darrell Henderson or Juju Smith-Schuster. Juju has the higher ceiling, but he also has a lower floor based on what we've seen the past couple weeks. So if you want the safe floor and you know that Darrell Henderson is going to get work in this game, I'll go Henderson. If I want the ceiling, I'll go with Juju. Tim Patrick or Laviska Shenault in half PPR. I will go with Laviska Shenault there. We might have our first, I think we're going to have our first snow game here in Denver and Kansas City. So that's something that just kind of downgrades, not so much, right? Like I'm not dropping these guys that's on 12 spots down in my wide receiver rankings or anything like that. But yet it does downgrade them slightly, where we could see this be a game where they try to keep it on the ground, especially Denver, going up against Kansas City, try to keep it on the ground as much as they can. Tags is messaging me. Tags, go away. Sit 1, Mike Davis, Kareem Hunt, or Latavius Murray. Sitting one of them. I will sit Latavius Murray in that situation. That's not even close. Kareem Hunt, although I do like Latavius Murray, don't get me wrong, Kareem Hunt is running back 3 in my rankings, and Mike Davis is running back 5. So yeah, you got to play both of those guys over Latavius Murray. Jamal Williams or Josh Jacobs in half PPR. I'll still stick with Jacobs, stick with the proven thing. Latavius Murray or James Robinson in a standard league. I will go with James Robinson there. Hunter Henry or Cole Beasley in a half PPR flex. I'll actually go Beasley. I like him in this matchup, especially with John Brown out. Jamal Williams or James Robinson in a full PPR. I will go with James Robinson. Noah Fant or Jonnu Smith. I'm going to go with Jonnu Smith. Again, talked about it. Noah Fant coming off his injury. Both of them are coming off of an injury, obviously, but Noah Fant missing significant time. And then also in a game where I expect Denver to try to lean on the run as much as they can. Jonnu is more of a sure thing. There's always a possibility, it's fantasy football, that Noah Fant outscores Jonnu. But right now, you got to keep rolling in Jonnu. Jamal Williams or Giovanni Bernard in full PPR, Giovanni Bernard. Deontay Johnson or Juju, I'm going to go Deontay Johnson there. Robbie Anderson or Brandon Cooks, Robbie Anderson. Standard flex, Devin Singletary or Jamal Williams. Got to go Jamal Williams there. I'm very low on Devin Singletary this week. He's shown me nothing over the past couple weeks to indicate that he should be in your starting lineup as a solid RB2. He's more of a low-end running back 3 in my rankings. Which wide receivers to start? Pick 2, half PPR, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, or DJ Chark. I will go with DJ Chark and Tyler Boyd. Half PPR, Jonnu or Cook. I will go with Jonnu. And then Tannehill or Breeze. I will go with Tannehill. Flex, James White, Tim Patrick, or Traquan Smith. I will go with James White in that situation, especially because it's a full PPR. Right. In all caps. Good morning, Yates the GOAT. I love the podcast. P.S. I'm a Fantasy Pros Hall of Fame subscriber. Should I start Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Giovanni Bernard at the flex? I will go with Clyde Edwards-Helaire there, but that is super close. These guys are probably back to back. Yeah, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, CEH at 14, Giovanni Bernard at 15. All right. CEH or Jamal Williams. I'll go CEH there in a full PPR. David Johnson or T. Higgins in the PPR flex. That's close. I think if you want the safe floor, go with David Johnson. If you want the ceiling play, go with T. Higgins. I don't think T. Higgins is going to burn you by any means, but yet he does present a higher ceiling. I think just David Johnson's more of a sure thing with the workload that he's going to see in a fine matchup. So I'll recommend David Johnson, but I'm fine swinging for the fences with T. Higgins. Pick 2, Montgomery, CEH, or Amari Cooper. All right. I'm going to go with Montgomery and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think that Cooper, yes, he should be fine. And, we might have gone a little bit too far this past week with just our perception on him with Andy Dalton at quarterback, but he still produced. So I just think that looking at these other guys, they have a safer floor. Even with the question marks about CEH and Le'Veon Bell, CEH is not going away. He's still going to be a fine running back 2. Cooper just comes with a wide range of outcomes. So I'm fine if you want to play Montgomery and Helaire there. McLaurin or Keenan Allen in full PPR. I have in half PPR rankings, I have Terry McLaurin at 14. I have Keenan Allen at 18. In a full PPR, I might go Keenan Allen there just because I think he's going to get targeted a ridiculous amount. So I'm in a full PPR, I'm fine going Keenan Allen, but they're both going to be like super close in those full PPR ranks. So fine with either one of them. Go with your gut, but I will recommend Keenan Allen. McKinnon or Hasty, it's Jerick McKinnon pretty easily. Brady or Burrow in 6-point touchdown. I will go with Brady. I don't think that Brady necessarily has a huge ceiling in this matchup because I do expect Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette to be able to just run all over the Las Vegas Raiders defense. So that presents I just don't think Brady's going to have a high ceiling, but yet he should be someone that you roll out over Burrow. Jamal Williams or DeAndre Swift. I will go with Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams or Ronald Jones. I'm going to go with Ronald Jones. Even with Leonard Fournette, Jones has earned the spot as a high-end running back 2 in my rankings. DJ Moore or Jamal Williams. Ton of Jamal Williams questions. I will go with Jamal Williams there. DJ Moore or Allen Robinson. That's Allen Robinson pretty easily for me. Corey Davis, PPR worth a start? Not necessarily, but again, it all depends on your options. So, Nick, if you're in that situation, I think you can roll him out. Not necessarily super excited about it. He's probably... let me look where he is in my rankings. It's not high. Yeah, Corey Davis is outside my top 50 wide receivers on the week, so I'm not running out there saying, yeah, you have to start him. But again, I'm starting A.J. Dillon in a couple of spots, guys. Okay, so here we are. Yo, Yates, help your boy out. Half PPR, pick 2, Allen Robinson, Latavius Murray, and Jamal Williams. I will go with Allen Robinson and Jamal Williams there. Half PPR, Gibson or Kirk. I will go with Gibson there if I just want the safe floor. I know that he's going to get touches. Kirk, again, barely utilized last week. Of course, he had the big game, but yet barely utilized. So I have Kirk at 37 in my wide receiver rankings, and I have Gibson at 21 in my running back rankings. So if I want the safe floor, I will go with Gibson. If I want to swing for the fences, I'm projected to lose by a ton or whatever, I'll go Christian Kirk. A.J. Dillon or Antonio Gibson. I'm still going to go Antonio Gibson there, especially in a PPR league. Big Ben or Stafford. I will go with Big Ben. I have Ben at 9 in my quarterback rankings, and I have Matthew Stafford at 12. Full PPR, Kenyon Drake or Jamal Williams. I will go with, I talked about that. In a full PPR, I will go with Jamal Williams. I said that in a half PPR full, I'm fine going Jamal Williams. In a standard, I would go with Kenyon Drake. Antonio Gibson, Brandon Cooks, and Giovanni Bernard. Sit one in half PPR. In that situation, I will sit Antonio Gibson. Gibson or Drake, I will play Kenyon Drake. Cam Newton or Big Ben, I will play Cam Newton there. I expect him to pick up a ton of yardage on the ground, especially if it's snowing. Hey, Kyle, who's the better running back option this week in a full PPR? Jamal Williams, Giovanni Bernard, or DeAndre Swift? In a full PPR, I'm going Giovanni Bernard. A.J. Brown or McLaurin? I will go with A.J. Brown. Full point PPR, Boyd, Woods, or Gibson. Tyler Boyd, Robert Woods, or Antonio Gibson. I will go with Tyler Boyd here. Full PPR, pick a running back 2 and flex option. Darrell Henderson, Mike Williams, Justin Jackson, Latavius Murray, or Juju. I am going to go with Justin Jackson and Darrell Henderson. Should I trade Austin Eckler for Michael Thomas? Yeah, I'm fine doing that if you have the running back depth. Half PPR, trade my Kenyon Drake, Chark, and Edmonds for their Montgomery, OBJ, and Justin Jackson. Okay, so trade my Kenyon Drake, DJ Chark, and Chase Edmonds, Montgomery, and Justin Jackson. Yeah, I'm fine doing that. I think Montgomery is a tier above Kenyon Drake. OBJ and DJ Chark are kind of neck and neck. And then Justin Jackson has more immediate, immediate appeal and immediate use. And Edmonds is just kind of someone that you want to hold on to as an insurance running back. You don't want to be playing him. So I'm fine making that trade for David Montgomery, OBJ, and Justin Jackson. Christian Kirk, DJ Moore, and Chark. I'm assuming that I'm supposed to pick one of those. I will go with DJ Chark there. Debo or Traquan Smith in a full PPR. I'm going to go Traquan Smith. Tunyon or Hurst. I will go with Hayden Hurst. Half PPR, play 3. Deontay Johnson, Christian Kirk, Montgomery, and Drake. So sitting one of them. I'm going to sit Christian Kirk. I think that, again, wide range of outcomes there, but I like Deontay Johnson this week. I'm recommending him as a start. I think that you plug him back into your lineup. Christian Kirk, wide range of outcomes. I'm fine going with Deontay Johnson, Montgomery, and Drake. Latavius Murray or Phillip Lindsay in a full PPR. Super close, but I'm going to go Latavius Murray there. PPR, CeeDee Lamb or T. Higgins. I'm still going to go CeeDee Lamb. I talked about this with Dan on the Friday podcast, saying that if you really do have an offensive line that is just beaten and battered and is not playing well, and Andy Dalton behind center up against the Washington defensive front, which is a stout unit, like they can get after the quarterback. In that situation, it lends itself to these short area targets of a CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's that short to intermediate route. CeeDee Lamb, the underneath kind of stuff as the slot receiver. And then Michael Gallup is the one that I'm staying far away from. He's outside my top 50 wide receivers this week because he's the field stretching option, right? So in that situation, you don't have time to be able to allow Michael Gallup to get downfield. So I still like CeeDee Lamb, even though what we saw from Andy Dalton doesn't instill confidence. I just think that he's going to soak up targets, especially with me I'm projecting that Dallas is going to throw the ball over 40 times every single game with their defense. So yeah, I'm fine going CeeDee Lamb there. CeeDee Lamb or DJ Chark in a standard league. In a standard league, I'll go DJ Chark there, leaning into those targets and being utilized deep downfield. Robbie Anderson or Will Fuller, and you need upside. Both of them have upside. Robbie Anderson is probably going to be the guy that I go with here. Marshawn Lattimore hasn't been as stout in coverage as we expected him to be, and as we kind of all project him and have him in our minds to be. So I'm actually fine going with Robbie Anderson here. I think he has a fine day. Gronk, Logan Thomas, Fells, or Ebron. I'm going to go Rob Gronkowski here. Let's go down here. Full PPR, Justin Jackson or Jamal Williams. I will go with Justin Jackson there. Montgomery, Jamal Williams, and A.J. Brown. In a standard league, pick 2 of them. I will go with Montgomery and A.J. Brown. Full PPR, second flex, sit 1. Juju, Edelman, or Kelly. I will sit Edelman. T. Higgins or Chase Claypool, very, very close in my rankings. I am going to go with T. Higgins, though. Chase Claypool just has a ton of questions right now about what's his role in this offense with Deontay Johnson on the field, with Juju, and even James Washington. This is a game that I'm going to be watching closely to see, okay, what are the snap counts like? What is Chase Claypool's involvement in this offense like? So this is a situation that, is worth monitoring, and because of that, it bumps him down. But again, 27 and 28 in my rankings are T. Higgins and Chase Claypool. So back-to-back, I'm fine with either one of them. Breaking news, the Raiders are facing fines and a potential draft pick loss with COVID-19 violations. Interesting. Okay, let's keep going. Which is a safer bet, Hunter Henry or Jonnu Smith? Kyle, well, first off, you have a great name. Second, the safer bet is obviously Jonnu Smith. Full PPR, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Giovanni Bernard, or Jamal Williams at running back, and DJ Moore or Tre'Quan Smith at wide receiver. Okay, so at the running back position, I'm going with my rankings, which is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Giovanni Bernard is right behind him at 15, CEH at 14, and then Jamal Williams at 20. But then DJ Moore and Tre'Quan Smith, I'm going to go with Tre'Quan Smith here. CeeDee Lamb or Justin Jackson, I will go with... I'm really high on Justin Jackson this week. I've been recommending him as a start. I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to say start Justin Jackson. In Stafford or Newton, I will go with Newton there. Pick one for my flex, CEH, David Johnson, or Kenyon Drake. In a half PPR, I will stick to my rankings, which say that David Johnson... it's loading. David Johnson is the one that you want to go with. I have David Johnson at 12, CEH at 14, and then Kenyon Drake at 18. Andy Dalton, Derek Carr, or Jimmy G. Gross. I will go with Jimmy G here, actually. I think that he's getting healthy. I actually have him I have him as a borderline streaming option this week. So I'm fine going Jimmy Garoppolo. Matt Ryan or Aaron Rodgers. I will go with Aaron Rodgers in that situation, I think, is who I have higher. I'm double checking. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers at 5, Matt Ryan at 6. So I'm fine with either one of them. Go with your gut. But again, I'm going to recommend playing Aaron Rodgers. You need 2, Chris Godwin, Cooper Kupp, and Chase Claypool. I'll start Chris Godwin and Cooper Kupp. PPR, Mike Williams, Corey Davis, or Cole Beasley. I'll go Mike Williams there. I like his upside in this matchup against Jacksonville. And then Tunyon or Cook, I will go with Jared Cook. Demarcus Robinson, Antonio Gibson, MVS. Where'd it go? I lost the question, guys. I'm coming back to it. Still scrolling. You guys ask a ton of questions. It's gone. I'm so sorry. Okay. This is what happens when I have to look for the questions myself. All right. Big Ben or Tannehill. I will go with Big Ben. Hawkinson or Jonnu Smith. I will go with TJ Hawkinson. I have Hawkinson really high this week. Half PPR, DJ Chark or Antonio Gibson. I will go with DJ Chark. Cooper Kupp or DJ Chark. I will go with Chark in that situation. Jimmy Graham or Dalton Schultz. I'll go Graham. Josh Jacobs, Tyler Lockett, or Allen Robinson in a half PPR. In that situation, I'm going to go Josh Jacobs, Tyler Lockett, or Allen Robinson. Ooh. I don't think I'm going to go Jacobs here. It's going to be between the receivers, and I have Lockett at 11 and Robinson at 13 in my rankings. So go with your gut between those two wide receivers. Fine with either one of them, but I'm going to go with Tyler and recommend Tyler Lockett. Jamal Williams or James Robinson. I'll go James Robinson. Jamal Williams or Tyreek Hill. You got to go Tyreek Hill there. Brashad Perryman, Gabriel Davis, or MVS. I will actually go... Ooh. All these guys are in that same tier of like a low-end flex play. I'm going to swing for the fences, and I'm going to go with MVS here. It would be between MVS and Gabriel Davis. With Brashad Perryman, I never want to play Brashad Perryman because there's no guarantee that he's going to play the full game. So MVS or Gabriel Davis, I'll go with MVS. MVS or Tre'Quan Smith or Marvin Jones, I will go with Tre'Quan Smith there. Ryan or Herbert, I will go with Matt Ryan. Swift or Henderson, I will go with Henderson. Lockett or Fuller in the flex in a full PPR, I will go with Lockett there. But Fuller's right behind him. Fine with either one of them. If you want, I mean, Lockett, so let me spend some time on this. Lockett has kind of disappointed the past couple weeks compared to what he was putting up the first few weeks of the season, right? Fuller, but Lockett has an enormous ceiling every single week. It just depends on where the touchdown goes. But Fuller has been as steady and consistent as you would want. Outside of his disappearing act in week 2, Fuller has just been on fire. So if you want to stay with the more sure thing, then go with Fuller. I'm fine with that. If you want to swing for the fences, though, because Lockett has number 1 overall wide receiver upside every single week in this offense with Russell Wilson. So fine going Lockett, and that's personally where my rankings say. But if you want to stay and go with a steady option, I'm fine going Fuller. Half PPR and a tight end premium, Darrell Henderson or Robert Tonyan. If it's a tight end premium, that breaks it a little bit. I'm fine going Tonyan there. Especially because of the awarded points there. Montgomery or Justin Jackson. I am personally going to be playing David Montgomery. Minshew or Bridgewater. I'm going to go Minshew there. Both of them as like low-end QB2s, though. Not really excited about either one of them. Half PPR, CeeDee Lamb or J.D. McKissick. In the flex, in that situation, I will go with CeeDee Lamb. Non-PPR league, start Edmonds or McKissick. For a start, it's McKissick, and it's not close. Chase Edmonds is just a insurance. He's just an insurance running back at this point. You don't plug him into your starting lineup. Allen Robinson or DJ Moore. Allen Robinson pretty easily for me. Sit one, Robbie Anderson, AJ Brown, or Giovanni Bernard. Ooh. Sitting one of them in a full PPR. Man. I think I'm going to sit Robbie Anderson. Yeah, I'm going to sit Robbie Anderson. I have AJ Brown at 9 in my wide receiver rankings this week. Robbie Anderson at 12. Giovanni Bernard just comes with too safe of a floor for me to say sit him. So, and especially with his work out of the backfield as a receiver, I'm going AJ Brown and Giovanni Bernard there. Jonnu or Gronk. I'm going to go Jonnu there. I have Jonnu, and just for context too, because everyone knows that I love Jonnu Smith. I've been recommending him all off season. I have Jonnu at 5 and I have Gronk at 6. So it's not a big gap, but for example, I would play, I'll just run through my tight end rankings. I have Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Darren Waller, TJ Hawkinson, Jonnu, and then Gronk, and then Hunter Henry, Jared Cook. So those are kind of the ranges there. Jonnu, again, is a top 5 play, but yet I would be playing TJ Hawkinson against the Atlanta Falcons defense over Jonnu. All right. Gallup or Jones Jr., so Marvin Jones, Michael Gallup, but both of them are low-end flex plays. Actually, no. I'll go Marvin Jones. But, again, not anything crazy. All right. PPR flex, Claypool, Swift, or Evans. Claypool, Swift, or Evans. I will go with DeAndre Swift there, actually. I think that he has a safer floor, which is crazy to say. Shenault or Beasley in a full PPR. I'm going to go Beasley. Higgins or Mike Williams. I'll go T. Higgins. Godwin, Golladay, McLaurin, or Chris Carson. 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. Okay, so I will play Godwin and Golladay for sure. And then all these guys are really top tier options this week. If it is a standard league, that's something too that I would need to know. If it's a standard league, then you plug in Chris Carson. If it's a half PPR or full PPR, I'm actually fine going all receivers there and Godwin, Golladay, and McLaurin. Love the matchup for Terry McLaurin this week. In the flex, AJ Brown or James Robinson, and then 20 exclamation marks and question marks from Casey. I will go with AJ Brown there. Pick 2, Giovanni Bernard, DeAndre Swift, Antonio Gibson, Jamal Williams, Jerick McKinnon, and pick 2 of them. Okay, so Giovanni Bernard for sure, and then I'll go Jamal Williams. I'm actually going to play the 2 players that we've gotten the most questions about. I'm going to play Giovanni Bernard and Jamal Williams there. Full PPR, Woods or Mike Evans. Super close in my rankings as low-end wide receiver 2s. I'm going to go with Mike Evans. Am I, though? This is so Dan and Tags and I talk all the time. We're like, we hate doing rankings because they are so fluid. And when you sit down and you're like, would I actually play this player over this other one? Then that makes you think it. I'm going to move Mike Evans back down and I'm going to move him to 25. I'm going to move Robert Woods up to 24. Let me publish my rankings so I do not forget to do this. So I will play Robert Woods over Mike Evans, but not necessarily like super excited about either one of them. Have them both as low-end wide receiver 2s. Okay, so let's get back to questions. Have PPR, Kupp or Beasley? You still got to go Cooper Kupp in that situation. DJ Moore or Deontay Johnson in the flex in a full PPR? I'm going to go Deontay Johnson. Andrew asks, for my full PPR league, can you help me choose two between T. Higgins, Giovanni Bernard, Juju, and Jarvis Landry? Landry's pretty far down my rankings this week, just dealing with his like rib injury, just not wanting to go anywhere near that. I will go with, personally, I'll go T. Higgins and Giovanni Bernard. Those, I'll go with those two. Okay, half PPR. Dan and Tags are messaging me. They need to stop. Juju or Latavius Murray? I will go with Latavius Murray there. Breeze or Andy Dalton? I'll go with Drew Brees in that situation. I'm not going anywhere near Andy Dalton. Jerry Jeudy or DeAndre Swift in a full PPR? I'll go DeAndre Swift there. Full PPR, Mike Evans or Giovanni Bernard? I'll go Giovanni Bernard. LaMichael Pirine or Zach Moss? Gross. I will go with Zach Moss. All right. Henderson, Swift, White in a full PPR, start 2. I will go with Darrell Henderson and James White there. Start Ronald Jones or David Johnson or Josh Jacobs or Jamal Williams in PPR. So I'm assuming that I'm just picking one of them. In that situation, I'll lean into my rankings. In a PPR league, I will go... Man, all those are probably like back to back in my rankings outside of Jamal Williams. Williams is a little bit further down. Just for context too, like Dan Harris is super high on Jamal Williams this week. He has him as a top 10 running back last time I talked to him. So take that for what it's worth. If you think that Dan's smarter than me, you're not going to offend me. He's a top 10 ranker on the season. So then you play Jamal Williams. I have him a little bit further down, but out of your options there, it was Ronald Jones, David Johnson, or Josh Jacobs. I have Ronald Jones at 10, David Johnson at 12, and then Josh Jacobs at 13. So play Ronald Jones. I think that this is too good of a matchup for him to not produce. All right, Jared Cook or Robert Tonyan. I'm going to go Jared Cook there. Half PPR flex, Cole Beasley and A.J. Dillon. I will go with Cole Beasley there, especially in a half PPR. If it was a standard league, I'd probably rule out Dillon, but any sort of PPR, I don't expect Dillon to be involved in the passing game at all. Pick 2, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, or Christian Kirk in a half PPR. I will go with Anderson and Moore there, but that's close. Moore, I think, is a safer play than Kirk, but Kirk has a higher ceiling. I just have him a little bit further down in my rankings, adjusting for his wide range of outcomes. And I said this earlier this week on the podcast too. I said, like, with the way that we do it, particularly Dan and I, is doing projections. Obviously, with my article, that's what I do, is the fantasy projections. Projections take into what's the most likely scenario, right? So they say, okay, what if everything plays out the way that it should, based on Vegas lines, based on everything else, this is what the most likely scenario is. Rankings adjust those a little bit and take into the probabilities. So when we do projections, we could say Christian Kirk looks like he's going to have a really good game, but based on the way that this offense looked last week with, Kyler Murray falling well below the most likely scenario, going for 9 for 24 passing, okay, well, that's not the most likely scenario. That's one of the most, the percentage chance of that happening and him having a terrible passing day was very minimal. But yet we have to build that into account, which is what drops Christian Kirk down my rankings a little bit. Walrus or Hawkinson with my opponent playing Stafford. They're 3 and 4 in my tight end rankings. So I'm going to go Waller, but then Hawkinson would be right behind him. Justin Jackson, Christian Kirk, and Traquan Smith in a full PPR. I'll go Justin Jackson. Jamal Williams or Traquan Smith. I'll go Jamal Williams. Allen Robinson or A.J. Brown in a full PPR. Allen Robinson or A.J. Brown. I'm going to go with A.J. Brown there. A.J. Brown I have a little bit higher in my rankings, so I will go lean into my process, stick with my rankings is what I meant to say, and play A.J. Brown. Antonio Gibson or Devin Singletary. Antonio Gibson for me. I'm fading Singletary quite a bit. Jacobs, Giovanni Bernard, Melvin Gordon. I will go with Josh Jacobs and Giovanni Bernard there. Jonnu Smith or Robert Tonyan. It's got to be Jonnu Smith. Cooper Kupp, Claypool, or Deontay Johnson. I will go with Deontay Johnson there. David Montgomery or Robbie Anderson. I will go with Robbie Anderson. Antonio Gibson or Kenyon Drake. I think I'm going to say Drake here. Yeah, I've got Drake at 18, Gibson at 21. Terry McLaurin or Antonio Gibson. Then you got to go Terry McLaurin in that situation. Great matchup for him. Full PPR flex, Brandon Cooks, Deontay Johnson, DJ Chark, or James Robinson. And a full PPR flex, I will go with DJ Chark there. DJ Chark if I want the ceiling play. James Robinson if I want the safe floor. All right. Justin asks, Evans, A.J. Brown, Deontay Johnson, and Justin Jackson. Which one to play, I'm assuming? A.J. Brown for me. Mike Davis, Melvin Gordon, OBJ for Ronald Jones, David Johnson, and Cooper Kupp. Ronald Jones and Cooper Kupp. Yeah, I'm fine acquiring Ronald Jones, David Johnson, and Cooper Kupp. Chris Carson or James Robinson in a full PPR. I'll go Chris Carson there. Kenny Drake or DeAndre Swift. I'm going to go Kenny Drake personally. Julian Edelman or A.J. Dillon in a flex in a standard league. Standard league breaks it. I'll go A.J. Dillon there. Not excited about either option, though. Full PPR start at the flex. Fuller. Okay, so this is interesting. I had the thought earlier today. I'm going to take a quick detour. I had the thought earlier today. I was like, what has happened to Raquel Armstead? Like, he went on the COVID list to begin the season, the running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Never heard of anything. I haven't heard anything. And then literally just came across Raquel Armstead has been hospitalized twice because of COVID-19 complications and is not expected to play this season. Hoping for a speedy recovery from him, but that's crazy. I literally had that thought just today, and just broke. So, again, hope that he's doing well and that he can recover quickly. All right. Full PPR, start at the flex, Fuller or Boyd. I will start Will Fuller. Half PPR, Woods or Swift in the flex. I will start Robert. I'll start Robert Woods there. Robert Tonyan or Hayden Hurst at tight end today. I will go with Hayden Hurst. T. Higgins or Justin Jackson in my flex. Half PPR, I'll go Justin Jackson. DJ Moore or Tyler Boyd. I will go with Tyler Boyd. CeeDee Lamb or Odell Beckham Jr. I will go. Those guys are super close. Pulling up my rankings. I have CeeDee Lamb at 19 and Odell Beckham Jr. at 20. So I will play CeeDee Lamb. Again, said this before. When these guys are in the same tier, go with your gut. Because again, they're in the same tier for me. So, but I'm personally going to recommend CeeDee Lamb. Standard League, Chase Claypool, Singletary, or Murray at the flex. I'll go Murray if I want the safe floor. Chase Claypool if I want to swing for the fences. T. Higgins or OBJ in a standard league. I will go with OBJ. Deontay Johnson versus Keelan Cole. I do like Keelan Cole this week, but I have Deontay Johnson ranked quite a bit above him. Jamal Williams or Chase Claypool at the flex. Jamal Williams or Chase Claypool. I'll go Jamal Williams there, especially in a full PPR. Jamal Williams or Clyde in a full PPR. I will go with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Half PPR, Julio Jones or Mike Williams. I will go with Julio Jones. He's my number one overall wide receiver on the week, so it's not even close. PPR pick 2, Robinson, Amari Cooper, or DJ Chark. Or Allen Robinson. I will go with Allen Robinson, and then I have DJ Chark at 17, and I have, who did you say? Amari Cooper? I have Cooper at 16. So all fine options. Go with your gut. Allen Robinson and Amari Cooper for me. P. Ryan or Dillon. I will go in a full PPR. I'll go A.J. Dillon still. Yeah, I'll go A.J. Dillon. That's not close. I'll go A.J. Dillon. But A.J. Dillon's 29. In my half PPR rankings, he'd get a bump down in full PPR rankings. Pick 2, Josh Jacobs, Robinson, or Gurley. I will go with Gurley and Robinson. I have Gurley as a top 10 option this week against the Detroit Lions run defense. James Robinson at 8, Gurley at 9, Josh Jacobs at 13. All right. Godwin or Lockett? I will go with Godwin in that situation. Hawkinson or Graham? I will go with Hawkinson. Talked about him as a top 4 tight end this week. Big Ben or Tannehill? I will go with Big Ben there. Half PPR, Robert Woods or T. Higgins or Deontay Johnson. Half PPR, Robert Woods or T. Higgins or Deontay Johnson. Again, Tags and Dan are distracting me. We'll go with Deontay Johnson. Amari Cooper or Tyler Boyd in a full PPR. In that situation, I'll still go with Amari Cooper. Cooper Kupp or DJ Chark. I will go with... I'll go with DJ Chark there. Jared Cook or Deontay Johnson in the flex with Thomas and Sanders out. I'm still going to go Deontay Johnson. Jared Cook has a chance to find the end zone, but as always, and he should see a slight uptick, but I'm not... the ball's going to go to Alvin Kamara, like time and time again. So Jared Cook has to score a touchdown for him to outscore Deontay Johnson. Demarcus Robinson, Antonio Gibson, MVS, or McKissick in the flex in a full PPR. In a full PPR, I think I'm still going to go with Antonio Gibson. Demarcus Robinson is just outside my top 40 wide receivers on the week. MVS is in that same range. J.D. McKissick is at running back 30, but then Antonio Gibson up at 21 in my half PPR running back ranking, so I'll go with Gibson. Full PPR, pick 1, Dylan Beasley or Corey Davis. In a full PPR league, I'll go Cole Beasley. Full PPR, Antonio Gibson, Kenny Drake, and McKinnon. Sit one of them. I'm sitting McKinnon. Keelan Cole or Tim Patrick. That's Keelan Cole for me. Justin Jackson or Joshua Kelly. I'm going Justin Jackson, especially in a full PPR. Chase Claypool or OBJ. I'm going OBJ. Risk Minshew getting benched or play Kyle Allen. So here's the thing, with that report that came out earlier today of Gardner Minshew might be benched if he doesn't pick up his play or whatever the report was, like, who are they going to sit him for? They're sitting him for Mike Glennon. As a Bears fan, I'm telling you, Mike Glennon ain't it. Mike Glennon is not better than Gardner Minshew. So I think that was just as a tactic to try to get Minshew's play back up, but even Minshew could see through that one and say, yeah, you're not sitting me for Mike Glennon. Half PPR, so I would play Minshew, just to double back. Half PPR, T. Higgins or A.J. Brown. Greetings from Germany. Hello. I will go with A.J. Brown there pretty easily. Have him as a top 10 wide receiver this week. Start 1, roster 1, and drop 1. Philip Lindsay, Joshua Kelly, and Traquan Smith. I will... start 1, I will start Traquan Smith. Drop 1... I want to keep rostering Joshua Kelly. Philip Lindsay, that would be tough to drop him, but might be where I would go. Gronk or Jonnu, I'm going to go Jonnu, but again, they're at 5 and 6 respectively in my rankings. I'm fine with either one of them. Godwin or Keenan Allen, I will go with Chris Godwin. Just a few more minutes, guys. Robert Woods, DJ Chark, Antonio Gibson, I will go with DJ Chark there. DJ Moore or Tyler Boyd in a standard league, I'm going to go Tyler Boyd. Let's find some more questions here. Melvin Gordon or Justin Jackson in a full PPR. Justin Jackson for me. Hey, Kyle, crazy to start Herbert at QB over Aaron Rodgers. No, yes, it is crazy. I'm starting Aaron Rodgers. Justin Herbert easily could go off in this matchup, but yet it could also be easily that the Chargers run the ball. Justin Herbert, of course, can hit those deep plays downfield to a Mike Williams, Jalen Guyton, again, those kind of things. But I think that Aaron Rodgers in this matchup is just going to go nuclear, after last week too. Full PPR in the flex, Chark or Gibson. I will go with DJ Chark. Allen Robinson or Robbie Anderson. I will go with Robbie Anderson. In a standard league, Ruggs or Hasty in the flex. I'll go with Henry Ruggs there. Michael Hasty just has too many questions. I doubt he walks into the full workload here. The percentage chance of that happening is very, very small. So Henry Ruggs, tough matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Corners in their defense, but I'll still go Ruggs. in that situation. Keelan Cole, Jerry Jeudy, AJ Green, or Traquan Smith in a half PPR. I will go with, it's pretty close. AJ Green's not in consideration for me. I want to see it happen for one more week before I say, okay, let's start trusting AJ Green again. I have Keelan Cole at 29. I have Traquan Smith at 34. So I will go with Keelan Cole out of that grouping. Good morning, Yates. Love your guys' shows. Thank you. Half PPR flex help Montgomery or David Johnson. I am personally going to go in a half PPR. I'm personally going to be rolling with David Montgomery. I have Montgomery at 11, and I have David Johnson at 12. So, again, I've said it before, go with your gut. I'm personally going to be recommending that you play David Montgomery. Comes with too safe of a floor. Cooper Kupp or Jamal Williams in a full PPR. I'm going to go with Jamal Williams there. In a standard league, Matt Ryan or Matthew Stafford. I will go with Matt Ryan. All right, 2 more questions. Full PPR, Chris Godwin or Tyler Boyd. I will go with Chris Godwin there. And in a full PPR, T. Higgins or DJ Chark, I'm going to go with DJ Chark. All right, guys, I will give you a minute to go get your lineup set. Make sure that they are good to go because we got kickoff happening here pretty quickly. Guys, thank you so much for joining. Again, before you head out, hit the subscribe button on the channel if you have not done so already. Hit the like button on this video as well. Helps us out in a huge way. And then again, you can find and follow me on Twitter at KyleYNFL. Would love to interact with you over there. And also on Instagram at KyleYNFL. Guys, thank you so much. Enjoy kickoff. Enjoy your football. We'll talk to you soon.